To the highest level to attempt to do something impossible that you say, who had to deliver the charge, he makes the commitment here and there he goes. So there is no doubt that you do not see the NFC award in the context of the present circumstances. There was sufficient motivation, there was sufficient determination, national resolve to carry it through. Why was this part of the award never made a subject of public debate? Why was it not made? People should have known it. Where will this extra money come from? Where will defense meet its needs? Everybody should have known it. So there has been some failure, and I can tell you this thing, that the chairman, the heaviest load that was on his mind as he walked out of signing initially, formally later on it was signed and he wasn't invited. The only thing that was weighing heavily upon him is, how will I go and increase the tax? So he should have made sure that at all public forum, he said, look, wait a minute, this award is only if I do this, and this is how we're going to do it. So, and let me tell you this thing, that later on, when the question of reform GST came, I just happened to, as a no one, having no responsibility, attended this meeting 28th of July 2010, where Dr. Ehtisham made a presentation on reform GST. And after the presentation, the full guard is sitting there, 5 Minister of Finance, 5 finance secretaries, and the entire federal financial bureaucracy. And as he made the presentation, there was just one very quipping remark, that why are we increasing the GST on the demand of IMF? We should not go by their agenda. And that's it, the silence fell. Were the people owning the implications of NFC award? Didn't they say at that time that's not their IMF's agenda? And then when I said I'm nobody, but I happened to be present there, and I said it is not IMF agenda, the very NFC award is predicated on that. It is our own need. The economy cannot move forward and implement this NFC award unless it's done. Where have we seen that kind of public propagation, public persuasion, public information, public campaigns to increase and improve the reform GST? So that impossibility was to be made possible for Pakistan to assume a better place. Now the second question is regarding the, can you just quickly, I didn't write down, the political. Well, I fully agree with you that financial matters, federal financial matters, do involve give and take. Take the case, I wish I can tell you a little story. For the shortage of time, I restrain myself. But what happened past midnight in Lahore, the final meeting of NFC? Everybody said, we are not going to reduce our percentage. There was a great advocacy that you have more larger pie, even from lesser percentage you'll get more money, but everybody stuck to the impossibility that we will not reduce the percentages. That was the end of any negotiations on it, because we needed to change the percentages. But I want to say, in the very spirit of federal harmony, saving the federation, past midnight, the hosts dropped their percentages to the extent it pleased every other stakeholders, and we signed with happiness. Those are also political issues. You have to, identify your national objective. And you have to say that if you didn't achieve it, this would be the outcome. And the politics is the art of coming about in a spirit of agreement. The art of making the impossible possible. So that is what I say, that I saw lack of application, lack of persuasion, lack of propagation behind that NFC award, which should have changed. I'm pained to know when Dr. Ehtisham, perhaps from his point of view, very realistically said the defunct NFC award. We thought that that's the direction that Pakistan is going to take. So Pakistan has work to do. I don't even know, Dr. Ehtisham is the old colleague of IMF, but if we can take care of our own national priorities and needs, IMF needs we can take care of them, because right now, somehow or the other, our needs and some of the IMF identifications are coincidental. And when we have to go for our needs, there is unnecessary complex in the mind of some people that we are serving the agenda of IMF. Forget about the agenda of IMF. You try to find out your way out of this morass. Let me say that some of the experts are saying Pakistan is falling very fast into macroeconomic precipice. Way out, I don't know. Thank you.
I'd just like to echo some of these comments, because I think that we missed an opportunity, and I had been arguing with Shaukat Tareen that there should be an explicit linkage between the NFC award and the VAT. There was a counter argument by some officials, which I believe won the day. But every major tax reform I've seen has had a concomitant equivalence on the transfer side.
May I very quickly say, Dr. Cham, it wasn't debated that should these percentages of award be made conditional with the achievement of tax to GDP increase. No, it was totally understood. I wish there was a debate, and then we would have said include that in the award. So nobody had disagreed there. There was no one who could hold the ground against increasing, because if you didn't increase, then the federal government couldn't run. And if they couldn't run, you couldn't have these percentages. So I think that from now onward, if there is an essential initiative, financial initiative that makes the award implementable, that must be part of the award. Thank you.
If I can just complete my thought.
Yes.
I think we missed an opportunity to make that linkage. The other point that comes out of this is that what we really need is a standing secretariat. People working for 4 or 5 years, if not a permanent secretariat, at least a 4 or 5 year preparation for the NFC award, much like the Indians do, so that you have the analytic work ready for you rather than having to pull out rabbits from your back pocket. So I think that's a structural change, which I would very strongly recommend to people who are on the NFC, to try and persuade the federal government to set that up, because we should really avoid this last-minute bargaining, and everything should be analyzed properly with proper data, international experience, and modeling. And then you can get to a solution which is based on sort of the solid work that other people have done.
Thank you, Dr. Ehtisham, Dr. Ver, and Dr. Gulfaraz. I'm going to close the session already. I think people are very eager to eat dinner. I want to thank Dr. Ehtisham particularly, and all the other panelists who've traveled and come to share their thoughts on Dr. Ehtisham's presentation. I hope this seminar was useful and instigated new thoughts and ideas. I think for both the journalists and for us who do policy and research, there are lots of questions that have been raised that need to be raised by the journalists and also by us. Thank you very much, and I invite you for lunch, and I'm sorry we kept you waiting for so long. Okay, shukriya.